Divisor. Sample Extract. Ricardo. This is a 5-page sample of Divisor, a book I have been working on for years, with many rewrites and retcons. My process making Divisor was less creationist than most authors, where they have a fixed idea and a plot sorted out before they write it. I sort of let my book evolve, changing things here and there until I was happy with it. For example, the prokaryotic ancestor of this book was about a talking waffle called William. Now all that remains of that literary genesis is 2 names. I think what I have now is a fair bit better than William Waffle. Given the choice between being remembered as the creator of a massive sci-fi universe rich with lore and perfect for a franchise, and being remembered for writing about sentient food, I'd personally take the first one. Anyways, enjoy. The thick undergrowth of the forest seemed like impassable masses of leaves and brambles. Valentine weaved through shrubs, the rustling of leaves obscured by the powerful roar of a nearby waterfall. Safe water and food were top priority. Finally, he burst out onto a riverbank. He stood up, brushing off a leaf. There it was, stretching 10 metres upwards. The waterfall was an almost seamless sheet of white foaming water. The husk of a large fallen tree formed a bridge over the speeding river. I'll have to take Carla here sometime soon, Valentine thought. There was a rustling in a bush on the other side of the river. Valentine pulled out his rifle. A small, frog-like creature waddled out of the bush and rested on the bank. Valentine stood still. It croaked and licked its eyes before hopping into the rapid water, whisked away harmlessly by the river. Suddenly, another voice filled the forest. A buzzing of wings and the chattering of jaws. Valentine peeked over the tree. The body of another frog laid there, its chest torn open, and feasting on its remains was a swarm of small beetle-like bugs, about the size of a hand, with a shiny purple-black carapace and a thorax that glowed a sickly yellow. Valentine brought the stock of his rifle down on one of the bugs. The others flitted off, carrying away scraps of meat. Then the bushes around him started to rustle violently, and the forest was filled with the endless flitting of 100 wings as the swarm of bugs rose from the undergrowth like plumes of yellow smoke and black embers. Oh shit, Valentine thought. He grasped his rifle and darted his head around. A rustling came from the bushes again, this time more violently. Loud clicks surrounded him as he slotted a new magazine in. A bug leapt out of the bracken directly behind Valentine with a buzzing roar. Its talons extended. Valentine ducked and it hit the bank rolling. It turned and pounced on Valentine. It was bigger than the first ones, with a more elongated canine form. Valentine was locked onto the ground, his head a foot away from a set of gnashing jaws, and his rifle tossed into the river. His grapple pierced through the beast's compound eye, embedding itself in its brain. The thing fell limp on him. More clicks. Valentine stood up, his grapple tearing itself out of the bug. He frantically tore off a talon from the corpse, wrapping a scarf around the joint to form a makeshift dagger. The clicks came again. This time, there seemed to be more. Valentine climbed up onto the fallen tree, the ancient wood creaking with every step. If he could just get over to the other side, he might be able to get away safely. The glow from their abdomens was visible through the foliage, the sickly yellow flanking him on both sides. There was only one option, and as a machine, Valentine knew he would not like it. He would have to go into the river, rushing furiously below him. He put his shoes into a food bag Carla had given him. The bugs were almost out of the undergrowth. He crouched down and began to cut out a square of moss-covered bark. The banks were filled with the yellow glow of alien abdomens and the clicks of foreign fangs. Almost. He looked up, and his lenses met with the eyes of another wolf bug thing. Wolf bug? Yeah, let's go with that. It snarled at him, his wings twitching. No, its wings twitching. Fucking hell. Its wings twitching. Valentine dug his hands into the bark and tore out a large chunk. Here goes nothing. Valentine leapt into the river, landing on the bark raft. The water was icy cold. Valentine clung to the bark, hiding the gaps in his casing behind his coat. The river whisked him away safely, whisked him swiftly away from the wolf bugs. Or so he thought. Above the thunderous crescendo of rushing water, Valentine could hear buzzing. Looking behind him, he saw 3 bugs chasing after him, their wings bright blurs of yellow and green. Then the rocks came. Valentine was whisked off the raft as it shattered and into splinters and moss clumps. The bugs were right on top of him now. One dived, talons outstretched. With a screech, it tore into the food bag. The fruit spilled out of the gash left in the Hessian. The 3 beasts all grabbed the fruits with greedy mouths, distracted by the meal. Valentine pulled out his dagger and snuck up on one of the bugs. He clasped the handle with both hands and brought the talon down into the thing's neck. Bioluminescent blood spat up at him, painting him yellow-green. He drew out the blade as the others noticed him. One leapt up at him, and he swung savagely at it, slicing across its exposed underside. The last shot up into the air, screeching. Valentine's grapple darted over it, arcing over the bug. Valentine leapt up and grabbed the hook with his left hand and the dagger firmly in his right. The thing struggled into the air, beating its wings rapidly. The glow in its body dimmed as it tired. Hot, steaming breath flowed out of the veins lining its abdomen. Valentine tugged harder, reeling the beast in like a crab in a net. After one final push, the wolf bug gave up and crashed into the shallow water. The grapple shot back into its slot, the prongs slicing through the wolf bug's leg. The river ran yellow with bug blood, a corruption so potent it subtly illuminated the nearby forest in the light. Last second, isn't it? A corruption so potent it subtly illuminated the nearby forest in the late evening gloom. Well, that is 5 pages of Divisor. Not the best recording ever, but I think it went all right actually. Started off a bit rubbish, but we ended up getting some actual proper reading it emotionally and everything. Some sound effects, which are probably going to sound rubbish. The dog kindly interrupted, but hopefully that went all right. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.